Okay, everyone. So in the previous videos, we learned how to input our information with the coordinate systems, with the absolute, the relative, and polar methods. And so let's say we drew our objects we needed to draw. We have it ready, and now there's two things that you need to do. You want to make sure that you have your name written somewhere in your drawing, your work, and you can print. You can print your drawing so that everything prints properly. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add our name. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit somewhere right here. Remember, to zoom in, you can simply roll your mouse wheel in and out, and that allows you to zoom in and out. If you press and hold the middle wheel, it allows you to pan around. So I'm just going to go find my location where I'm going to place my name. So let's say that it was somewhere right here. So you will have two different ways. Right here under your home tab right here, and then your ribbon, if you see right here towards the middle, there's this multi-line text with the big white A right here. When you click on the down arrow, there's two options. There's multi-line text and there's single line text. And you can do either one. The multi-line text allows you to do pretty much what any other word processing program does. It allows you to do bullets and numbers and pretty much what you can do, let's say, with Word or with Google Docs or something of that sort. When you go to single line, it only allows you to do very limited text. You can put it there, but you're not able to do all the functions that you have with multi-line. So you can do either one right here. I'll do a sample with both, and then you can choose whichever you want to do. I typically just do single line because it's just one setting. I mean, it's practically the same. It's a matter of preference. But let's say that I do my single line right here, and the first thing I'm going to say, it's under my command line, says specify start point of text, or, and then it has a couple options. But for now, I just want to place my text somewhere, right? So I click on the location that I want. The next question my command line says is specify height of the text. So we know that all our text happens to be 0.125 or 1/8. So I simply type 0.125 and then hit enter. The next question is going to ask me is the rotation angle of the text. I typically, unless I want it to go on a 45-degree angle or something, typically it's a 0. So you can already see it that it's a 0 right here. You don't have to type it. You simply hit enter, and you're admitting that that's going to be at a 0 rotation, and then you simply start typing, and it's going to be all capital. So let's say that I'm just going to go type my name. You will type obviously your name, and that's it. That's all you need. If you need to put your date, you can hit enter again and type the date or anything else. But if that's how you need, you hit enter again, 2 enters, and then that will take you out. If you need to modify your text, you double click on it, and then it gets highlighted blue, kind of like a grayish bluish screen that tells you that you can actually modify that. Okay, so you can modify that. If not, you can just click outside and you're done. Now if you wanted to do multi-line text, okay, you do the same thing, but now instead of just clicking somewhere, you'll see it right there. It says specify first corner. You're going to make somewhat of a window right here. You just press one corner and simply move your cursor in the direction that you want to go, and then click somewhere else, and it's going to give you a different window. It's going to give you different options, and at this time I simply go and say Salinas E, same thing, and instead of hitting enter, I just have to click outside with my mouse, because if I hit enter, it's going to continue to give me more options. So I'm going to go back, and I'm simply going to click outside, and I'm done. So if I need to modify something I double click, and you can see that my entire ribbon changes, because this allows me to do many other things that, for example, let me escape, that my single line text doesn't. See, it doesn't change. It simply allows me to change this. When I go to my multi-line, then everything changes and I can do multiple functions right here. Okay, so that's it. For now, that's all you need to know. You will have an exercise entirely on text in a couple of weeks. That's it. Once I have my name right here and I said, okay, everything checks out, everything looks good, that's what I needed, then I need to print. How are we going to print? There's 3 different ways that you're going to get to the same result. So if I go and press and hold Control P, okay, the Control key, press and hold, and then click the P letter on your keyboard, it gives you this window. If I close this and I go to my quick access toolbar right here, and there's a little symbol for a printer, it says plot. If I click, it gives me the same window. And if I go to my application menu, scroll down, go down somewhere right here, okay, and it says print right here. If I just click print, it gives me the same window. So either one of those 3 will allow me to print. Once I'm here, there's a couple settings that I need to set before I print. So the first thing is going to be your printer. So in this case, you're going to go and you're going to find whichever printer you're going to need. So I'm going to select one right here. If we were in the classroom, I will select the one that it's in the classroom. You will select the one at your house, your personal or office, your personal printer. So I'm going to select this one right here. Then the next one, I'm going to select my paper size. So this time, depending on what type of printer you're using, you may be using a big plotter that allows you to print large prints, or one that allows you to print on a B size, D size, E size paper. But in this case, I'm just gonna select what I have available on this printer. So that's my letter, my 8.5 by 11. Okay, the next area is gonna be your plot area. So right here, you have different options. I can print display, which will display anything that is directly on my screen. I can print extents, I can print windows, I can I can print limits. For your exercises, there's a couple of them that will be different, but for your exercises, we're gonna do extents for most of the time. So you select extents right here, center the plot so that that setting will give you equal margins all the way around. And right here, if you are not printing to a particular scale, you can simply, if all you want to do is see what you have, you simply go and select fit to paper, and it will put your drawing, whatever it is, inside the paper, whether it's super big and it just brings it down to the paper, or it's something real small and it will enlarge it so that you can see it on the paper. But if not, if you select that and go to custom, you can always go and select different scales right here. Remember the exercises we did with our scale. You have 1/64, 1/4 equals 1 foot, and so forth. That's gonna come later, but for now, you probably or most likely will be at 1 = 1. So if I go 1 = 1, then this is the orientation of my paper. There's gonna be one item that's gonna be really important right here. And you want to go and select either all black, monochrome right here. That's going to allow you to print pretty much black and white. Make any color. When you have in two lessons from now, I think you're gonna have layers, and then we're gonna end up adding colors and everything to your different line types. We want to make sure that we select monochrome. Okay, that's gonna turn anything and everything to black and white, because not all printers are gonna be color printers. And if you don't have a color printer and you're trying to print colors, some of those colors like a yellow or a light green or something, they won't print. They will print very faded, so you won't really see it. So we want to make sure that we have monochrome or black and white, depending on the options you have on your printer, and then just say yes. Once you do that, okay, if I have set everything as I want it right here, I can simply go and say give me a preview, and it gives me a preview of what I have at 1 = 1. So it looks like at 1 = 1 my drawing will not fit properly right here. So you will know when you have your measurements whether or not you can print at 1 = 1, or you can simply go and do fit to paper. So I'm going to right click right here and exit, okay, or I can simply go up here and say close this, go back here and say fit to paper, the preview. So now everything is inside here. Once I check and everything looks good and I'm ready to go, then I can say okay. Then I am going to exit right here, and I can simply go and hit okay, and it will print that. And that is the way I'm going to print. So you're gonna add your name, you're gonna print, you're gonna input your information in the absolute, relative, and polar ways. Okay, so that is the information that we have for this video. Okay.